So, have you ever had that thought, I'd love to learn a new language, but then you immediately think, nah, that's like rocket science. It just feels so complex, right? Kind of out of reach for most of us. Well, get ready because today we are going to completely dismantle that whole idea.
All right, let's get right into it. That feeling is super common, but our guide for this whole thing, a guy named Matthew Youlden, he sees it totally differently. I mean, he's a philologist, a polyglot, and trust me, his perspective, it just might change your mind for good.
Yeah, you heard that right. Matthew speaks around 20 languages. And the craziest part? He's not some kind of superhuman. He's absolutely convinced that learning another language isn't just possible for anyone, but that it can actually be, well, easy.
So to prove it, we're going to break down his whole method into 5 simple parts. We'll kick things off with the rocket science myth. Then we'll debunk the 3 big mental blocks. After that, we'll get into 3 simple learning shortcuts, how to make it a habit, and finally, why this is truly the ultimate human skill. All right, first things first, let's challenge this whole idea that speaking just one language is the default, We tend to think being multilingual is some kind of rare talent, but the reality, well, it's a whole different story. Just take a look at a major city like London. A census back in 2011 found that almost 1 in every 4 people there spoke a language other than English at home. Think about that. This isn't some niche skill. It's just a living, breathing part of life in so many places.
Okay, so if it's not actually that rare, what's holding us back? Well, Matthew says it all comes down to a few really powerful myths, these huge mental blocks that stop us dead in our tracks before we even start. And he came up with a pretty clever way to remember them so we can finally just get rid of them.
He calls it DIE. It stands for difficult, irrelevant, and expert needed. And here's a fun little language fact for you. Die is actually one of the German words for the. Kind of cool, right? So let's start with the first one, the D for difficult.
The biggest excuse here is almost always age. You've heard it. Maybe you've even said it. I'm too old. Or I really should have learned this back in school. But here's the thing, and this is important. The research shows that while kids might pick things up a bit faster, we adults are actually better learners. And why is that? It's because we have this massive advantage. We've already learned how to learn. We've got strategies, we can spot patterns, we know how our own minds work. There's literally no cutoff date for learning.
All right, next up is I for irrelevant. You know the argument, why bother? Everyone speaks English anyway. Well, besides the obvious stuff like career boosts, learning another language unlocks all these amazing hidden treasures. I mean, it could be something small, like getting a free hotel upgrade in Turkey just because you tried a few phrases. Or it could be something life-changing, like finding the person you're going to marry. Fun fact, almost 1 in 10 Brits is married to someone who's not a native speaker. And on top of all that, studies show it literally makes you a better problem solver and can even help protect your brain against diseases like Alzheimer's.
And that brings us to E for expert needed. This is the big one. The idea that to really learn, you have to pack up everything and move to some remote village for total immersion. Well, Matthew and his twin brother absolutely shattered that myth. They decided to learn Turkish in just 1 week while they were living in Berlin. It proves it's not about your location, it's all about how you apply yourself.
So here's the crucial takeaway from all that. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's just about making progress. It's about being the best you can be as quickly as you can. And the good news is, we can totally do that with 3 really simple shortcuts that'll speed up the whole process.
And look, these aren't some complicated academic theories. They're just simple, practical things you can start doing for any language, like today. Analyze the similarities, keep it simple, and make it relevant to your life.
First up, analyze the similarities. As English speakers, seriously, we have a huge head start. English is a Germanic language, but it's got all this French and Latin mixed in. What does that mean? It means thousands of words are going to look familiar to you. Just look at this. Father is Vater in German. Friend is Freund. See? You already know way more than you think you do. Okay, second shortcut. Keep it simple. Don't get bogged down by looking at a giant dictionary and feeling overwhelmed. Every language is just made of simple building blocks. You just have to find the roots. For example, in German, you've got the verb sprechen, which means to speak. From that one simple word, you get a whole family. Besprechen is to discuss. Versprechen is to promise. It's like finding the basic Lego bricks. And third, and this one is so important, make it relevant. Look, we're English speakers, and I bet we don't know every single word in the dictionary, right? So why would we pressure ourselves to know every word in a new language? You don't need to. You just need to know the words that matter for your goals.
Ask yourself, why are you learning? Is it for travel, for work, to talk with your family? Whatever it is, focus on that vocabulary first.
Okay, so we've busted the myths, we've got our shortcuts. Now for what might be the most critical piece of this entire puzzle, time. And no, don't worry, I'm not talking about years and years of slogging through textbooks.
So what if I told you that you could make incredible progress with just 30 minutes a day? The real secret here is consistency, breaking it up into tiny, manageable pieces, like 10 minutes on your morning commute, 10 minutes while you're eating lunch, and 10 minutes before you go to sleep. That is so much more effective than trying to cram for hours just once a week.
And the real trick is to mix that kind of focused, active learning with passive learning. The whole point is to fit the language into the life you already have, not to build a whole new life around the language. So, listen to music in that language, watch movies with the subtitles on, maybe even change the language setting on your phone. Just surround yourself with it.
This all boils down to 3 golden rules. Number 1, live the language. Just make it a part of your world. Number 2, make mistakes. And I'm serious about this one. It is the only way you are ever going to truly learn. Think about it. As kids, we just accept that we're going to mess up. But as adults, we get so scared of it. You got to let that go. And number 3, probably the most important rule of them all, have fun with it.
And you know, that really brings us to our final point. Because learning a new language, it's not just about memorizing words and grammar rules. It's so much bigger than that. It's about unlocking this incredible fundamental human experience, literally seeing the world through a completely new pair of eyes.
Every single language is packed with these beautiful, unique little phrases that just give you a peek into a different culture. Like in French, to say someone is ambitious, you say they have long teeth. I mean, how cool is that? What a great mental picture.
Or in Italian, instead of saying break a leg to wish someone good luck, you tell them to go into the mouth of the wolf. It's these amazing little gems that make language so rich and just endlessly fascinating.
And there's this really profound Ukrainian saying that I think just captures the heart of all this. It translates to, the more languages you know, the more of a person you are. It's about expanding your identity, your entire perspective, your own humanity.
So you see, it's not rocket science at all. It's a human skill, one of the most rewarding ones out there. By just looking for what's familiar inside of what seems so unknown, you absolutely can master it. The myths have been busted, you have the tools, so the only question left to ask is, what's your first new word going to be?